Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of ARFEST Podcast. My name is Faris, and I'm joined by Amir. We're from
Hello.
the ARFEST team. Just a little bit about ARFEST, in case anyone don't know. We are here to celebrate augmented reality as one of the mediums. And our mission is to add a metaverse layer on top of Kuala Lumpur. We try to use augmented reality to tell stories, do digital art installations, or create games. We're able to geotag all this stuff around Kuala Lumpur. Today, we're joined by our guest, Jean.
Hi,
Hello.
hi everyone.
All right. Welcome to the show, Jean. Let's just start off by doing a short introduction about who you are. Jeannie is also one of our participants in this year's ER Fest. She submitted her work alongside her team, Far Out Collective. Her work is currently being displayed in Star Hill Gallery. Before we go to the works, Jean, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks. I'm excited to be here to be part of this podcast with you guys. Just a brief background about myself. I was from an advertising background. It was a good year of about, 6 to 7 years run. And I've decided to just drop it and join a tech company, a tech startup company. And ever since then, I've never looked back. With the tech companies that I'm with at the moment, it's a startup. I'm working as the project manager for the projects happening right now with the company.
What does your startup do?
Our all kinds of techs that we develop. We did roll out a project for a client a couple of months ago. We developed a caddy app system.
Wow.
The partnership with the government and also a private firm to roll out a caddy booking management system. So also call it as a caddy work utility software system.
What's a caddy?
Caddy is a golfing caddy.
Right, that caddy.
Yeah, that caddy.
Right. I
That,
thought that's another type of caddy, like I don't know of.
but it will advise you on what sort of club to use, how to hit the ball to reach the goals that you want.
Mhm.
So
Wow, interesting.
caddy.
Right. Okay. And you are in advertising now, you're in startup. Right now, you're sort of like dwelling into AR. How do you get yourself into AR? Like how do you start this collective that you're in?
Well, that's interesting story. I've always been fascinated with tech. Back when I was in school, there was already like so many buzzwords, like a smart home and blah 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 blah. So yeah, that drew my attention, right? But ultimately, I graduated with a marketing degree. So as a marketer, you always find a way to, connect with audience. So yeah, back when I was in advertising, Leo Bennett, we did a
Mm.
kind for our client. It was they call it a Maxis Bola Raya campaign. So
Oh,
yeah, can you
right. Okay.
call it?
Was it the one with um a blind footballer
Yeah, so that
campaign? Was it?
Top Bear, that was
Uh-huh.
the in rolled out a year after.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
Bola Raya was the first ever sort of like tag they venture in. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so what happened was that in the year of 2018, um, Raya was coincided with World Cup.
Mm.
So yeah, so our client challenges us in creating a campaigns, right, to create an awareness about one of their sales product that they were offering at the moment. So we look into AR. AR was like, was buzzing in the advertising
Mm.
world. The brands were looking into it already because of Pokemon Go.
Right.
Pokemon it made it into mainstream, right?
I
So
think
yeah,
Pokemon Go was during that year as well. I think around the same time.
ab- about 1 or 2 years after
Okay.
Pokemon Go.
Right.
So then we designed a proprietary app to host this augmented reality system. So, back in the day, there was like 2018, we were talking about the tech wasn't that jungle yet lah.
Mm,
But
mm,
a lot of limitations and all. So we did features that allow users to, wear their baju raya, and
mm-hmm.
and then it transition and transform into a jersey.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
you watch football, you wear jersey, ada semangat sikit. Yeah.
Right, 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 right.
So
Oh, wow.
the fun element of it was that, can celebrate Raya with their families at the same time, they will not lose out, watching the World Cup,
Mm,
long waiting for, So yeah, that was something that drew me, and also my first ever experience involving in augmented reality production.
right, right. Tell me more about like how was your first experience with AR? I mean, dealing with the client and dealing with the developers at that time. I'm sure there's a lot of new jargons and terms that you need to pick up. How is it as like a challenge for you?
Um, it was definitely challenging because the understanding of the tech feasibility wasn't there. You know,
Mm,
requires a lot of research, a lot of like readings in order for me to really understand that. But I was fortunate, to be partnered with one of the vendors, and were very they were kind enough to walk me through, right? What sort of
right.
things, like be mindful about the tech capabilities. For example, like the AR tracker,
Hmm.
right, was something that I wasn't aware of. It was down
Right.
to a stroke. You know,
Right.
the machine learning or the AI is able to
Yeah.
track, right, the pattern
Mm,
down to that a little tiny stroke. It
hmm.
was very meticulous, very detailed.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It's like mind blowing. I thought it should be something that's easy to be done, easy to do it. So
Yeah.
it's not just a matter of coding and stuff. There's
Hmm.
also limitations when it comes to the space, right? File size and all. So
Oh, yeah.
and also the user, the phone, right?
Mm,
Whether or not their phone is capable enough to run, the system. So there was a lot of this sort of like limitations and considerations.
mm.
Yeah, it
But
was.
how was the client like during that time? I think the idea of incorporating AR inside a campaign is still new.
Yeah,
But what made the client wanting to try out this new thing?
I think for brands, for marketers, they constantly, would challenge themselves and trying new stuff, because
Mhm.
a lot of new stuff are very appealing to consumer, right? They
Mm,
love curiosity, and but it is also due to AR wasn't that popular at that time in Malaysia. So
mm,
there is a competitive advantage for brands to venture into that avenue. So obviously the client was very open minded. It's Maxis, it's internet connectivity and stuff. So they fully buy in. And they love the idea that we pitch in, So that was the reason why the client gave us a go to
right,
AR, and hence the following years, you see there was a lot of things that is done within the space of tech.
right, right. That's good. That's good. And it was a proprietary app. It wasn't on Instagram.
The-
No. Okay.
yeah, like I say, because it was hosted on a proprietary app, because there was a multi there were options of features that allow the user to interact with. It's not
Hmm.
just like transitioning, the
Right.
bike to a jersey.
Right.
So other elements like stickers, goals like animated fonts,
Mm-hmm.
audio sounds. So
Mm-hmm.
each of these little elements contributed to, like a larger file size, and we were worried
Mm-hmm.
the phone was not compatible in directions. So hence, proprietary app at that time was the safest option.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And that was your first one, and it seems like a very big first project, AR project for you. How did that transition all the way to the stuff that you're doing with ARFest? It's like, is there any like continuity of other projects before you reach out to your teammates where you have now? What's the journey like?
Um, Fast forward, right, since 2018, yes, I do have some experiences in building other AR software systems. One of which is the skin analysis. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, AR tool, right, powered by AI. So that tool allows it analyzes your skin conditions. That was the time when we roll out during on right before COVID happened.
all right. Okay.
Coincided like between that,
Uh-huh.
and the COVID came. Um, so that was my first time ever involved in a detailed product design
Right.
experience. Yeah. So that was also another project that I learned so much, coming from advertising and then jump straight.
Yeah. I think that is like a combination of, you have the AR part and then you have the other part, which is very scientifically driven, I guess, because you need to like from just camera feed, you need to analyze stuff. How
Yeah.
does that work?
Well, it uses machine learning and AI,
Mm-hmm.
train the AI system to recognize and analyze, whatever data that was being asked from the
Mm-hmm.
user. And from there, it breaks down into, these are the solutions or the
Right.
product serve, the customers based on their current state of skin condition.
All
So
right.
a lot of trial and error, a lot of UAT, a lot of researches are being done um, and put into making this product works.
I'm sure there's a lot of work there.
Yeah,
And then I would say the call to action for that is recommendation of like products
yeah,
that
correct.
is suitable for
Yeah,
whatever condition that you're at. Okay.
so
And
that's
leads to like what your e-commerce site, I guess.
yes. If all
Okay.
the e-commerce site, this was in 2022, right?
Mm,
Late 2020s, there was this the emergence of the omni-channel, right? Everyone was talking
mm,
about, having a seamless sort of like customer interactions between the brands from
mm,
the physical and the digital world.
right.
So yeah, it's how like, looking back, it wasn't that far off like many, many years ago. It was quite recent.
Quite recent. Yeah.
The tech has evolved so fast. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. And what was your last job in advertising that involves AR before you leave?
In advertising, that was my one and only. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
After that, it was just normal AR,
Okay.
normal
Right.
stuff. Yeah. Like
Okay. Okay.
advertising in the year of 2019. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right. So let's go to your current project that you have with us, with ARFest. Um, Tell me a little bit more on how the collectives was formed and what lead you guys to come up with this project, because amongst all the submission that we got, I think yours is a little bit more in depth in terms of like what your missions are, what the things that you highlight. There's a lot of layers of discovery in the art. Tell us more about how the idea came about and how you go about executing it.
Okay. Right. So personally, nature has always been something that
Mm,
I connected the most with, you know. So as to my teammates. So my teammates are consist of Faye, Shah, Nadia, the other ones. Yeah, it's a collective group of
mm,
experienced
mm,
professional people
mhm,
has been around in the AR industry for some time.
mhm,
So we saw there was an opportunity for us to to do something, some causes, to bring some good causes, sort of like messaging, uh,
mhm,
to bring it into these competitions with the AR that we were think of developing. So uh, the Rainforest Awakening came about. It's set in stone right in the heart in the city of Kuala Lumpur. There was a lot of trees and all, and we all know that you know the weather was so hot and all, right? So
mm,
it gives the more
mm,
reason for us to utilize this space, and this opportunity to showcase to share the messages that was like in our hearts. Yeah.
mhm.
Uh,
And you have a collaboration with Freem as well, right? On this,
yes.
right? How does that work out? Like, what's their contribution like, and how do you incorporate that in the project?
Okay, so when we were designing the full experience, yes, we know that we wanted the visuals to bring the rainforest into the heart of the city, but at the same time, we came across like what sort of like we came across this butterfly species, who is the Malaysian national butterfly. Yeah.
Mhm,
And obviously, we are not the subject expert in this field. So then we reach out to people who has done researches uh, about this specific species to provide us a layer of proof and facts about the content that we feature and display in this augmented reality experience. So there was some stream that we reached out to, knowing that there was a professor who spent many years in studying about this butterfly species. Yeah.
What
Um,
was your first conversation with them? Do you explain that this is going to be augmented reality? How did they receive the whole idea of, oh, you're going to do augmented reality on this one?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, they were very positive.
Okay.
With the pitching idea and of the collaborations. Obviously, it requires a little bit of education to them as well, to lay out what are the benefits, right? We speak about augmented reality. Augmented reality just makes you allow user to absorb the content, way more easily by displaying, visuals in the real world. So it adds a layer of a platform that is very easily accessible for the user to really understand deep dry content, like
Mm,
research papers. Like if you read something out of like a
mm,
pamphlet or a booklet, yeah, it's all words, right? And
yeah.
one image. But if you can see something that's moving around you, that draws that awe, the inspirations, you are being immersed, in that sort of like surrounding. Yeah, that
Mhm.
connections and the
Right.
engagement was there. So there was because of this sort of like interactions that the AR enables, yeah, they were very keen to
Mhm.
be our partner, to help us out with the content that we create. Yeah, in this AR.
What's your Ami, you've been quiet, lah, Ami. You have any questions? You have any questions? I've been talking too much. Maybe you have
Okay.
questions you want to ask? Yeah.
Okay, I have one question. Like,
Okay, one question. Just one. Okay.
what
Go
do you
ahead.
think of like when we're making augmented reality? Um, how do you think to kind of cater it towards like the Malaysian audience? Because when we take reference from augmented reality, right? Very rarely do you find like the examples taken from like people done it in Malaysia. It's usually like it's in America or like it's in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's kind of hard to kind of implement those ideas that kind of don't with the
Mm.
Malaysian values. So how
Mm.
do you kind of work around that when creating this kind of AR stuff?
Well, ultimately, it's this it's the messages, it's the overall AR experience that you create, how it could resonate them, the target audience that you want to reach, right? Um, I have seen, the other submission. They all have some form of elements that represent the Malaysian, the games and stuff, something that brings back the memory, that nostalgia memories and etc. So yeah, having this sort of like a visuals elements that represent um the culture,
Yeah.
it's something that, as a creative designer, right? You need to consider that.
Yeah.
Uh, Secondly, it's always to understand what are the objectives of creating this AI experience, right? So by understanding the objectives of it, it will helps you in drafting and strategizing, what sort of experience content that you want to incorporate. The user journey, the placements of this AR, where you want the user to interact this AR is also deep considerations that one must have, when they decided to deploy this AR experience. Yeah. So yeah, the elements that are culture,
Yeah.
it's something,
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Like before before what you did at uh Star Hill, I didn't even know we had like a national butterfly. Like I knew we had like national flower. I knew like we had like the hornbill and things like that. But and I
yeah.
think it's kind of interesting that we have these kind of things, but it's kind of sad also that we kind of don't know about it. You know, like I'm willing to bet like a lot of people don't know that we have like a
Mm,
national
mm,
butterfly too.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fortunate. Actually, this butterfly,
Yeah.
it's in our passport.
Really?
Use
I need to take my passport now.
it.
Well, that's new.
Yeah. So bring about the storytelling that you guys were talking about, right? How important is well, the story wasn't just about the butterfly, it's about, the rainforest as well, how
Mhm.
the delicate balance, between this species and the rainforest. So yeah, it was the two messages that we were trying to carry across, like
Yeah.
preserve our rainforest because these butterfly species dependent on this, their habitat highly dependent on the water resources, the minerals.
The biodiversity of things. I think that's one of the things is which is really rich in Malaysia, and seldom that we talk about biodiversity, and there's a lot of things that you discover in this rainforest. Yeah, because I just recently started hiking and stuff. I just going to these places will you're going to nature itself, like yeah, because you do all these AR, VRs, very digital.
Mm,
Sometimes you just have to detox. Like it's good that we put out stories of the nature in the digital space that would eventually draw people back to the nature. So instead of waiting in the nature for all these digital savvy people to come, why don't we send out these stories in the digital space and, probably inviting them to the other side of the world, right? I think that's a brilliant idea. Jean, do you have like plans to extend this storyline, or maybe you have a similar story that you still want to use AR or even VR or anything else? What's the vision like? I'm not asking you like a 10-year kind of vision, but what's next for you?
Well, when we were developing this, the a rainforest awakening experience, we already thought about the part two plan.
Nice.
Yeah, we have. I mean, this butterfly kind of like interactive AR experience is just one part of it, one sector, but there is a lot of other possibilities, other species that we can, bring about to bring awareness, you know, um, but through this augmented reality experience. So we intend to reach out to more non-profit organizations or any non-profit organizations to see what if we can take this augmented reality experience into the next level and to make it more available for other people to try it on as well.
Yeah.
I have a question. Like, I'm sure you also know about like how limited augmented reality can be. So, what would you like to see in the future of like augmented reality that like, would be super easy to do? Like, what as far as I know, like implementing AI in AR can be like a very big hassle, right? And there's a lot of limitations. Like, you can't do this because like you have to you have to code a lot of stuff like that. So what would you like to see in the future where it's like this is the future of AR?
Um, well, I believe the tech will improve, in terms of the feasibility side of things, right? I believe the hardware will come
Let's
uh,
hope so.
to us into our lives in a very near future. We know that all these big tech companies are investing a lot in their R&D, right, in coming out with this software and hardware. But obviously, the accessibility part of it is making it price friendly.
Okay.
Or everyone to be able to adopt, right? But ultimately, most importantly, it's the user must have a clear understanding of not just the user but companies, who creates the augmented reality, must have a deep understanding of the responsibility in designing this augmented reality experience. Yeah, it's the ethical side of things, that all these rules and policy should set on stone first. Yeah, before rolling it out to mainstream. A lot of action work. Yeah.
Right.
Other than that, um,
Do you think it's gonna be a part of everyday life?
yes, I do.
All
Believe
right.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It will be. I mean, it's already happening right now. You see that the companies are using it in their business processes. You can see that it's being used into health care industry. It's AR is not just the matter of like entertainment. It's being used in education as well. You know, um, I see that it can work as a highly functional tools that would enhance and enrich our lives. Um, yeah, it's not to take advantage of to take over um it's not to make our life make human become lazy, no, but it sort of like should complement, in our daily lives to make it better.
Yeah.
I
I think
definitely
that
sorry.
go ahead.
I definitely see a trend when it comes to like merging technologies. Like for example, when VR came out, it was always about like video games, or like games in general. But then sooner or later, people kind of realized that like can use more. We can do more than this, right? Like then we can go out. What people could use VR to test out their surgery skills. Like if you're a
Yeah.
doctor, then you can, if you're a painter, you can paint in a 3D space. Then the same thing happened with computers, right? At first, it was just about playing that ping pong kind of game.
Pong game.
Yeah, pong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then for some reason, people managed to find a way to put people on the moon using this kind of
Yeah.
technology. So it's like, yeah, I think it's kind of nice to know that. It's weird to know actually that we're still in the early stages of augmented reality. It's been like what, 5 years? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think 5 years is a good. So I mean, this whole thing about ARFest is also why we're here. Is that we want to encourage conversations about augmented reality, and you raise a really important point, Jean, about putting out responsible content out there as well. Because at the end of the day, AR can be powerful. It can be also distracting. So it's a matter of finding the right way of executing it. You don't want to AR to become a toxic. Like if it's too much, it's also not good. Right? It has to strike that balance
Yeah.
of how you want to utilize that, and that really relies on the shoulders of creators like us. Uh, we need to find a way to actually draw out what's good and what's not. Try it out. I mean, we don't know, we don't know what's good. We might also don't know what's not unless we try it out and see how it turns out. But yeah, so I think that's a good summary of how you see the future of AR. And I would love to, if you can invite them to come over. I mean, the guys from Prim, uh, to come over to our 1st of December event. You're gonna have the awards night.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen there. So it's good if you can have conversation with people that is outside the technology space, the subject matter experts, because we're just I wouldn't say we're just a medium, but we do have a knowledge to find ways to tell stories much more interesting. But we need to have that story to tell about. You need to understand what the cause is, what the narrative is. And if we meet a lot more people, we'll uncover a lot more stories. And we can use AR or even XR to tell the stories in a much more interesting way, just like what you guys did with your AR installation in Starry Gallery. So, Shane, thank you very much for spending time with us. Do you have any last
closing remarks.
words, closing remarks? Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to, take this opportunity to really thank you guys, for organizing this KIL Fest event. Through this event, I get to connect with so many like-minded people. Malaysia is full of these amazing talents, right? So yeah, it's really a great platform to provide a space and avenue, for these passionate people to come together to create something amazing and to showcase, the world, to showcase Malaysians, on our capabilities. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you. So I guess I'll meet you on 1st of December.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will extend the invitation to Freem as well.
All right. Thank you very much. So thank you guys for tuning in to our latest podcast. Please stay tuned. We're gonna also talk to the other contestant and other participant as well. So yeah, be in this space. Thank you much.
bye.
Bye. Bye.